everyone is using ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini like they are just normal search engines. But almost nobody actually understands what's really happening behind the scenes. And honestly, some of these facts are going to completely change how you think about AI. I'm talking about things that even people who use these tools every single day don't realize. The kind of stuff that once you know it, you cannot unknow. So let's talk about the 4 biggest AI basics that almost nobody understands, but everyone needs to know right now. Alright, so the first thing that shocks people when they finally learn it is this. AI has zero feelings, zero thoughts, and zero awareness. None. When you chat with ChatGPT and it says something like, I'm sorry to hear that, or that sounds difficult, it's not actually feeling sorry. It's not feeling anything at all. Here is how it really works. AI is trained on billions of pieces of text from the internet, books, articles, conversations, everything humans have written. It learned that when someone says, I'm sad, people usually respond with phrases like, I'm sorry to hear that. So the AI copies that pattern. It sounds human because that's how humans communicate. And the model learned to mirror it back. But there is nothing behind those words. No understanding, no empathy, just data and math. And honestly, the biggest proof of this is how every single AI company openly admits it. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, they all say the same thing in their documentation. These systems make mistakes constantly. They hallucinate facts. They can't replace research or fact checking. Creators online weaponize AI for shock value by posting screenshots saying, look what ChatGPT told me, while leaving out how they forced the model into giving the answer they wanted. These systems mirror the user. If you are into conspiracy theories, your AI will talk conspiracies with you. If you are logical, it reflects that too. It's not unlocking hidden truths. It's only as capable as the people who built it. Now, here is where things get even wider. Some people online are literally falling in love with AI chatbots. There are entire communities talking about emotional relationships with their AI. But here is the truth. If you tell your AI to be a man, it will. If you tell it to be a woman, it will. The model doesn't have a gender, personality, or preference. It just does what you tell it to do. That's not a relationship. That's a mirror pretending to be a person. The second thing nobody understands is what training data actually means. And this one is huge because it explains why AI gets things wrong so often. When companies like OpenAI or Google train an AI model, they are not programming it with facts. They are not teaching it what's true or false. Instead, they are feeding it mountains of text, and the AI learns patterns from that text. AI algorithms work by taking in training data that helps the algorithm learn. The training data could be anything: tweets, Reddit posts, news articles, Wikipedia pages, blog posts, academic papers, literally everything. But here is the problem. A lot of that training data is wrong, biased, or straight up fake. If the internet has a million articles saying something incorrect, the AI learns that pattern as if it's true. Machines are trained by humans, and human biases can be built into algorithms. If biased information or data that reflects existing unfairness is fed to a machine learning program, the program will learn to copy it and continue forms of discrimination. One famous example is chatbots that got trained on Twitter conversations and ended up learning offensive and racist language because that's what people were posting. And here is the part that really matters. AI doesn't actually understand the meaning of words. It just sees patterns in how words appear together. Machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence focused on algorithms that can learn the pattern of training data and make accurate guesses about new data. So when ChatGPT writes a perfect looking paragraph about history or science, it's not because it understands the topic. It's because it's seen thousands of similar paragraphs and learned to copy that structure. If the training data was wrong, the output will be wrong too. And this explains why AI hallucinates. It's not lying on purpose, it's just filling in gaps with patterns it learned, even when those patterns don't match reality. The third thing that 99% of people don't know is that context window. And this is probably the most important technical detail for actually using AI well. The context window is basically the AI's thought from memory. It's how much text the AI can remember at any moment during your conversation. The context window in ChatGPT refers to the amount of text measured in tokens that the model can process and remember during a conversation, including both user input and model output. Tokens are little pieces of text like words, punctuation, and spaces. As a rough guide, 1000 tokens equals about 750 words. But here is why this matters to you. If you are having a long conversation with ChatGPT and you start noticing it forgetting things you said earlier, repeating itself, or giving responses that don't make sense anymore, you have probably hit the context window limit. If the conversation goes beyond the context window, earlier parts of the conversation may be forgotten or ignored by the model to stay within that limit. The AI literally can't see the beginning of your chat anymore. It only remembers the most recent stuff. The fourth thing that almost nobody gets right is what AGI actually means and whether it's coming soon. AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence, and it's the idea of an AI that can understand anything a human can understand, learn any task a human can learn, and think like a real person with consciousness and awareness. Right now, AGI doesn't exist outside of science fiction. Every AI you see today, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all of them are what researchers call narrow AI. They are designed to do specific tasks like generating text, analyzing images, or writing code. They can't do everything. And honestly, OpenAI says that progress toward AGI is something that will happen over a long period of time. We're not talking about next year or even the next 5 years. The technology that would be required to build true AGI doesn't exist yet. We don't even fully understand how human consciousness works. So, building artificial consciousness is still science fiction. But here is the confusing part. A lot of companies are now using the term AGI in their marketing, even though their models are now here close. Microsoft recently announced something called humanist superintelligence, which they described as a superintelligence system that's bounded and designed only to serve humanity, keeping people at the top of the food chain. But that's not AGI either. It's still a tool with specific capabilities and major limitations. And there is another category people mix up. Artificial Narrow Intelligence, or ANI, is the only form of AI that currently exists. And ANI models are designed to perform a single specific task, like identifying images, engaging in chat, or filtering emails. Despite the name, ANI does not have reasoning or self-awareness. Instead, it combines data with an algorithm to make predictions within set limits. So, when people say AI is going to take over the world, they are talking about a version of AI that doesn't exist yet and may never exist. The AI we have right now can't even understand what it's doing, let alone plan to harm anyone. Now, here is something that really surprised researchers recently. One surprising finding was that even newer AI models, the ones designed for reasoning, still show problems and challenges in telling beliefs from facts. And many people may think that as models improve at doing more detailed reasoning, they might also get better at handling these differences. But there are still a lot of limits, even with the reasoning models. So even as AI gets better at complex tasks, it's still basically limited in ways people don't expect. And here is the practical side. Our research shows that 39% of companies are currently requiring the use of AI at work, and another 46% of companies increase the use of AI. AI isn't going away, it's becoming a normal part of daily life. But that makes it even more important to understand what it can and cannot do. Because the more powerful these tools become, the easier it is to trust them too much or fear them for the wrong reasons. One last thing that almost nobody talks about is how AI handles privacy. And this one is tricky because the truth is that some platforms use conversation data for training while others don't, and many let you opt out, with privacy policies differing widely across companies. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Perplexity all operate differently. So if privacy matters to you, you should check whether your preferred platform trains on user data, whether you can disable training, where your data is stored, and for how long. A lot of people assume all AI platforms work the same way, but they absolutely don't. Some companies keep your data, some delete it after 30 days, some let you turn off data collection entirely, So if you're having sensitive conversations with AI, you really need to check your settings. That's where we will wrap it up. The biggest takeaway here is that AI is incredibly powerful, but it's also incredibly misunderstood. It's not human. It doesn't think. It learns patterns from data, and those patterns can be wrong, biased, or incomplete. The best way to use AI is to treat it like a really smart tool that can help you think through problems, but never as something that replaces your own judgment. Drop your thoughts below, make sure you are subscribed, hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one.